Hi, Diane. Hello. Hi. So, it's not going to be a long stream today. I actually haven't gone live this weekend because I've been dealing with a lot of problems with my dogs. We're going to talk about the Russian election, but I am also actually I'm actually heartbroken. I'm super heartbroken and I'm really upset. And I don't think I'll be able to do this stream for a long time because I genuinely should probably go to sleep at some normal time today. Um, so I'm going to have to rehome Liv. I've spoken to the owner of the shelter from which I got her. And basically, the situation at this point is that Cindy is having an equivalent in human terms that would be a psychotic breakdown. So let me recap for the when I moved to Ukraine, I got a rescue bulldog as a friend for Cindy, and she's a very sweet dog, and I love her so much, and it's actually like breaking my heart because I don't want to give her up, and I don't want to like rehome her. But basically, she has some behavioral issues that were not known neither to the foster family nor to me. She's very jealous, and obviously, because she didn't have enough love, she gets incredibly like possessive over her human because she hasn't had like a stable human, and so this started coming out about a month into living here. So Liv has been attacking Cindy for my attention quite a lot, and Cindy has been very gracious about it. She would never like attack first. She would like sort of let it. She would like let it go, kinda. And I mean, she would protect herself, as in like she would defend herself, but she wouldn't be aggressive. She wouldn't be like doing anything. Liv would take like Cindy would start chewing in a toy, and Liv would take it out of Cindy's mouth. Um, Cindy would go drink from a bowl. Liv would like push her out of the bowl and go drink from a different bowl. Like Cindy would go drink from a different bowl. And then on Friday, Cindy snapped and she like attacked Liv. And basically, for the entirety of the duration of that day, I could not have these two dogs in the same room because every single time Cindy would try to kill her. And this is nothing, Cindy has never done anything like that before. So I managed to like stabilize the situation the next day. It was pretty much okay-ish, but I had to constantly monitor them. Um, and I was so basically I had to constantly monitor them. I obviously put Cindy in the timeout, and like I worked with my so for the record, I'm not doing this myself. I have a dog trainer, and I've put a tremendous amount of work into this. When I got a rescue, I knew that, especially a rescue from Bucha, I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. Um, and and so we've been working through this. Her behavior overall has like significantly improved. She doesn't bark that much anymore. She's not like scared of sounds. She's not scared of people. She's not like that scared of other dogs. She's like generally improving, but like her and Cindy are just getting worse and worse. And so today, Cindy, I could tell that Cindy was on edge the whole day. So I was like kind of monitoring them, and then I was on the couch with Cindy to my left and Liv to my right. Liv got up to go drink some water, and then Cindy literally like rocket launched herself into Liv and like shoved her into the wall and just like brutally attacked her. So I somehow was able to separate them. I put Cindy in timeout in the bathroom. I turned the light off. I like very firmly told her that this is not okay. I went and checked on Liv. I put Liv in the bedroom. I stayed with Liv for a little bit. Um, And I was just, I like, so when Cindy attacked Liv, also what ended up happening is like, I had a lot of stuff on my table, and like all of the glass objects that were here, like decorative objects, they fell, and so they broke, so it made this like horrendous noise. The tables all got like turned over and stuff like that. And so I've been talking to Liv's previous foster parent this entire time, and so I called the shelter owner, Ola. She has 30 French bulldogs in one house at a time because she has a shelter. And so I was like, listen, it's been 4 months and the situation is getting worse and worse. And like, Cindy is fucked up, like, as in, like, her nose is like fucked up, her ears are fucked up, like, everything is fucked up. Like, Liv is slightly fucked up too, but mostly Cindy. And like, I'm fucked up everywhere, like my hands, my legs, like everything, because these dogs just keep fucking fighting. And I was like, I have a dog trainer. I'm like, I'm doing like everything I fucking can do. And I don't want these dogs because I feel like I'm making them suffer because they're just not getting along. And, and so the shelter owner was like, I think we need to rehome her to a home with no other dogs, because she does have food aggression. Well, we trained that out, but sort of like when they have their meals, she doesn't experience food aggression. But like if I give Cindy a treat, or I give, like, basically, or like if I give Liv, it's like Cindy is a super chewer, so she constantly has to chew on bones. She really likes bones. She hasn't been able to do that because if I give her a bone or Liv a bone, they start fighting over these bones. So that's, I'm sure, has been stressing her out a lot. And Bombsheller, hi, nice to meet you. I've been reading your messages. I'm just gonna let me, because I'm ADHD as hell. So if I don't finish all of this, I'm not gonna be able to like come back to my thoughts. So uh, basically today, after that has happened, I can't get Liv in the same room as Cindy again because Cindy just constantly tries to attack her. And Cindy today tried to, basically, my dog has never attacked anyone, like, ever. Not people, not dogs, no one. She's like a sweetheart. She has really, like, she has patience. She's a fantastic dog. Today, a mini pincher came up to her to sniff her, and she tried to attack him too. And I am scared that this is going to result in behavioral issues for Cindy that I'm not going to be able to revert back. And at this point, like, I feel like I'm just doing worse for both of these dogs. As to a shelter, I'm not taking her back to the shelter. She's staying here until I'm going to find her a loving home. The thing is, like, I don't want to give her up, but I'm also like, it's been 4 months and I've been working with a dog trainer. He specializes in like aggressive dogs with behavioral issues too. And I feel like things have just been getting worse. And the problem is that I should be starting a new job in about 2 weeks to like 3 weeks. And I like, Cindy has never had to be in a crate when I left her at home because she's, she doesn't do anything wrong. She sleeps on the couch and chews her bones. I've been having to crate her because I crate Liv, and basically, like, this is very stressful, and this is very stressful for Cindy. Like, literally the only dog that's been like getting a lot of fucking like stress here is Cindy. And this is the dog that I've had since she was a puppy. I've had her for 4 years, and I'm not willing to risk fucking her up. And my dad's friend, who has a house outside of Lviv, has expressed interest in Liv before, but obviously I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's my dog. And Anastasia, my aunt, has a friend who allegedly has had a French bulldog before and loves French bulldogs, and that way I could be able to visit her. But the thing is, like, I'm just so traumatized at this point by all of this. And I'm generally incredibly worried for Cindy. Like, when I say, like, when I saw like Cindy's reaction to Liv the other day and Cindy like going after the pincher, and like Cindy, every single time she hears Liv, her hair stands up. And like the thing is, this is not my dog. Like I don't recognize Cindy, and I feel like I'm psychologically fucking her up. And I don't know what's best anymore. I don't know if it's best to like go and find some like super duper trainer and like give it another 2 months or whatever, or if it's better to just give Liv to a loving family with no dogs, where she's going to have all of her all of the attention on her, and stop torturing Cindy, because I literally feel like I'm torturing Cindy. And this has been happening for the past 3 months, and it's only intensified. And like I'm at such a like heartbroken stage, because I don't know what's right. Like I don't know if making them get along is right, or if like ending this is right. I love this dog so much, but it's like I like I feel like I'm betraying the dog that I had since for 4 years, you know, like she's miserable, and I am like, I feel like such an awful person, because I like I, I like I was ready for, you know, like Liv has a lot of behavioral issues. They include um like her behavioral issues include like, you know, random little things around the house, and it's like that's okay. That's fine. Like these are just like, you know, annoying little daily things that I was ready for, because I was getting a rescue. And also like you should be ready for these things when you get a puppy or any dog. If you're not ready for things to go wrong and not how you expected, don't get a dog ever. But I wasn't like, you know, we didn't know about the aggression to other dogs. Or rather, there was like the foster parent had an idea, but they weren't sure. And so if I knew about the aggression to other pets, I obviously would not have taken her in, because I wouldn't put Cindy through that. But it's like, let me explain what I mean. Cindy, come here. Baba. Hey, come here. This is Cindy's nose. It's healing now, but her entire nose is fucked up. Her eyes over here are fucked up. And I'm scared that next time that they're gonna attack each other, I'm small. I'm a small person. These are two bulldogs. I can't like they end up fucking each other up before I can separate them. And I'm scared that next time it's gonna be her eye. And I'm like, and I know I see people are offering to like help, but it's just like, I'm terrified at this point. I'm genuinely terrified at this point. I had to break down like over 100 dog fights in the past 4 months. I am fucked up. Like my entire body is in scratches. Like I have scratches everywhere. I mean, literally like everywhere. None of this is healing, because it's just constantly getting irritated, and that's okay. And that's okay. But like, I'm worried that like one of them is going to hurt the other one of them, to the point where like they're going to lose an eye, or like something bad is going to happen, and I'm not going to be able to prevent it, simply because anytime they start fighting, I don't even know how to fucking take them apart anymore. Like it's just like, it's not working. Last time I tried to do that, like this happened, because one of them basically like just was just like yeah. So yeah, so I feel like if this was I'm not going to throw them 100 feet, like what the fuck. If this was 2 months ago, I would have taken all of the help that I could get, because I feel like I've taken all of the help that I could get. I have a dog trainer. I've sent them to dog camp. I have a dog trainer coming in here every other day. I like, but it's been 4 months of this, and I think that my like I'm mentally fucked up. Like today, I lost my shit at this point. Like and I don't mean like I lost my shit where like I was screaming at the dogs or anything like that. No, I literally was sitting on the floor crying because I just can't take it anymore. Like I can't. And and that's also largely and it's also largely like the reason why I wasn't doing any live streams this weekend because I also, William, so the dog that was aggressive, that was attacking Cindy, is now trying to be super nice to Cindy, and she's a very kind dog to humans. Like I love her with all my heart. I genuinely like I love her so much. But I'm not gonna like I'm not bringing her back to the shelter. She's not going anywhere until I find her a family that's actually going to be good, and that's what I'm doing right now. And it's a Frenchie, and she's like, she's a very beautiful, fantastic, amazing, sweet Frenchie. She just can't live in a household with other dogs, or shouldn't. And she's going to be much happier in a household where, where she has where she has a human puts that dedicates all of their attention to her. And it's just a really fucking shitty situation because I don't, I'm not, I could probably do like a super behavioral trainer and I could probably try and fix it. But the thing is, I'm scared that by the time this gets fixed, one of them is going to do something to the other one. And the trainer can't be with me 24/7. And realistically, if I didn't live alone and I lived with another person, so I would know that if these dogs are attacking each other, someone can help me take them apart. But it's what ends up happening each time is they injure each other. They injure me. They break shit everywhere, which that's fine. It's okay. I don't I'm not saying this because oh no, they broke my vase, fuck the vase. But just the point is that it's just it's a very, very stressful and a very traumatizing thing every time. And I'm genuinely today, it's last time I felt like this was 4 years ago when I had a psychotic breakdown and had to go on Zoloft, which I have been on for this entire time. I've been on antidepressants and I'm fine. I'm okay. But I feel so desperate at this point because I wanted this to work so much. And I wanted to do everything for this to work so much, but I don't have it in me anymore because if I have to witness another fight and I have to take it apart, I'm actually going to lose my shit. So that's that. And yeah, and I just feel generally, honestly, Liv is going to be happier in a family where all the humans are there just for her. And I'm also thinking that I'm genuinely making my sweet, sweet dog that is just so secure and so happy into a miserable dog that is just scared and triggered and constantly on guard. I don't, yeah, I'm just I'm just really, really sad. And that's what it is. And I think that's really all I have to say. Also, hi guys who came from Rick. Nice to meet you. And yeah. So yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. Sorry, it's just I feel in the back of my mind when all of this started getting worse and worse a month ago and everyone kept telling me just find her a good home and just rehome her with someone who doesn't have dogs and stuff, and I was I literally didn't want to hear it. Like I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to hear it. I was like, I'm gonna get this fixed. Everything is gonna be all right. I was like, doubling down on the trainer, and it's just like it's fucking heartbreaking. Like it's so heartbreaking. And I'm just, like I'm heartbroken. And yeah, I'm sorry. I I'm not stubborn. It's just that, like, I took responsibility for her, and I took responsibility for her, and and it's like, they're both living beings, and I just, at the end of the day, I want them to be happy. And if I can't provide both of these dogs with being happy, then, then like she is going to be happier at a place where she has like grass and a house and she can run around, because that's the type of environment she came from in terms of foster care and like the shelter. And she is going to be happier with like a family where all of the attention is on her. But it's like, the thing is, I love this dog so much that I wanted to make it work. And at some point, I didn't know anymore if I'm doing this because I think it's right, or if I'm doing this because I love her and I want her to stay here, And I think in that time frame, I've also kind of did not account for the fact that my original dog that I've had this whole time is goddamn miserable. Like, sure. Cindy is not like she's cuddly, but like, as in like, she's an affectionate dog and stuff like that, but she's not the type of dog, like some dogs are Play-Doh, like you'll pick them up and they will just be happy to like sit on you in whatever pose, like lives like that. Cindy, like I'll pick her up and she's just kind of like, she lets me do it, she lets me do it. But she's kind of like, okay, we've got is Liv the one from USA? No, Cindy is the one who's been with me for 4 years, and neither of the dogs is from the US. Actually, Cindy is from Mykolaiv, Ukraine, and she came to the US when she was 4 months old, and that's ever since I've had her. And Liv is from Bucha. So yeah, so basically, like I don't know where I don't know where I was before I responded to Sin and Liv situation, but yeah, that's kind of, hey. Oh yeah, Cindy is gonna like kind of like go and do her own thing. She's not gonna just like let me, Play-Doh her. And she's been kind of Play-Doh for the past couple of days, so I can tell that she's she's just like panicking. She's like, here, I'll do anything you want me to do. Like, you don't need anyone else. You just need me. So it's kind of, it's been there. And then also, I had this weird situation yesterday when someone, like a Russian bot farm, basically went after this girl on the internet who is a fellow creator. I'm not going to name her, but anyways, they then went to her live and like convinced her that I am the person who's been like stalking her and like, I don't know, like sharing private information about her. And then this girl went and like tagged me on Instagram, basically being like, oh, I'm gonna file a defamation lawsuit against you and stuff. And I was like, what? Like, this is the first time I've ever seen you or known about your existence. So I thought that this might have been a Russian attack on me. Like, I thought that she might be like a bot, like a or like a paid for troll or something. I don't know. I was like, what the fuck is this? So then I went and looked her up. She was a real person. And then like I checked my DMs and a bunch of people had been asking me about this. Also, a bunch of people from her profile came to like yell at me. And I was just like, what is going on? I don't know who this person is. So I messaged her and I basically said, I don't know who you are. Like, I'm sorry you're being harassed, but like, this is not coming from me by any means. I literally have never heard of your existence until I came from dinner with my friend to this whatever this is. So basically, we worked it out. So it was definitely a targeted Russian bot attack. Like, it's just some like random accounts with no followers, like writing some random BS. But anyways, I was just like, what the fuck is going on? So that was stressful. And then also in the background of all of this, there have been some personal situations that I haven't been talking about because it's not really relevant, but like there is this person who won't take no for an answer. And I don't mean like romantically, I mean just like they're just kind of crazy and just continue like popping up in my lives and like things like that. And just I don't know, it's like it's a very wild situation where I genuinely feel like so creeped out. And there is another situation in my life that's very unpleasant because there was someone that I really cared about who just like disappeared into nowhere one day. And I think that that's actually connected to this crazy person, but whatever. So, um, it's just been a wild ride. And then there was the Kyiv Post situation where I started working there, and I was kind of wary of working there because I thought that their morals are questionable. And when I came in there, I immediately said that I would never stand up for these journalists that I do not agree with. And I think they're just like click, click hungry and cloud hungry, potential propagandists, but likely just cloud hungry, like clickbaiters, and that I'm never going to stand up for them. And I don't understand why they work here to begin with. And I said that I have a really high like moral compass in terms of like, being honest with my audience and stuff like that. And then basically an episode into working there, I had a situation in which I was being made feel like my integrity was being pushed to be compromised. And then the editor in chief kind of acted like he wanted me to like run after him and ask him to like, to and like I'll do anything just to keep working here. And I wasn't going to do that. So that ended because I was like, wow, this is awful. I'm not like, I don't want to be a part of anything like that. That's disgusting. Which that doesn't have anything to do with, and this has nothing to do with the video team that I worked with. They were fantastic, but it's the last word is behind the editor in chief, who's a very like antiquated man who doesn't know what an SEO is, yet still feels like he should dictate how to work YouTube. Anyways, I mean, there was a lot of issues of that sort in that regard, but the video team was really great people, and they work really hard, and they do what they can. And yeah, so I just feel like, these past 2 months, it's just been a letdown after a letdown after a letdown after a letdown. And this one is incredibly painful because this is like so personal, and I'm like so heartbroken over this. And so yeah, so it's just been like, it's been a bit of a, it's been difficult, and like on the one hand, I'm so happy because I'm back home, and I'm genuinely like so much happier here besides like, outside of like this, all of this stuff that's happening, but also, like, I'm just so tired, and I feel like I I felt like I was finally, everything was finally stabilizing, and like it really isn't. And it's a blow after a blow after a blow after a blow. And they're like emotionally really rough blows. Like I can't necessarily, nor do I want to talk about all of my personal stuff online that's been going on in the background. But it's just sort of like, hi. But it's just sort of like, it's been really upsetting, and yeah. Mm. And it's just, yeah, it's been a lot. And Russia has an election. Well, actually, it's happy vote for Putin Day, I guess. And I'm sure you have all seen, like, I ask, I ask, sorry, no, it's Happy St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, but it's a happy vote for Putin Day basically because it's really not um an election. It's predetermined, but also I find it so funny how the world is paying so much attention to it, right? And I'm kind of playing into it because that's my thumbnail. Um, and I do sort of want to talk about it because it wasn't an election. It was predetermined a long time ago. Navalny saying that asking people to show up to the polling stations is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. Like, show up and protest, because Kremlin supporters have also been telling people to show up so they can show that they're strong in numbers. And she is basically asking her supporters to do what works best for the Kremlin, because realistically the silent protests don't matter. Um, and and basically, it's oh, hi Carl. it's sort of been it's sort of been kind of kind of like, I keep getting messages from my followers, which I understand, like I do, and that keep asking me like, "Hey Yulia, what can you tell us about this Russian opposition figure? Or what do you think about this Russian opposition figure? Or what about this guy? Or what about that guy?" And it's like, you guys, when I tell you stop looking for good Russian politicians, I mean it. They're all the same. They're literally all the same. Navalny thought Crimea belonged to Russia. They had Nemtsov before Navalny, and you know what? We Ukrainians actually thought that he was the last and only decent Russian politician. I found his interview from 2014 where he says Crimea is Russian, and the interviewer is like, "But when Germany, like, so you're like a latent imperialist?" And he's like, "No." And the interviewer was like, "Well, when Germany was defeated, all the lands that it annexed were given back in belonging." And Nemtsov goes, "Well, Germany was at war and defeated in war. I would never wish a war on Russia." That was, sorry, 2016. And that was already quite a bit into the war. And he was denying that Russia had, was partaking. It was like invading Ukraine. So, and the reason why we in Ukraine liked him and thought he was good is because no one was showing us this. We were shown a very different picture. And that happens with all of these Russian politicians because they want Ukrainians to support them, right? They want to fool us so we can support them and through Russian opposition, and we can give them a better name on the world stage. But none of them are good. The thing is, like, when you look at the history of Russian imperialism, the Tsar comes and goes, but the fascism, imperialism, and colonialism stays. The problem is not in Putin. The problem is not the problem is not, like, I don't know, Peter the First. Well, actually, he was one of the very big problems who started doing all of that. But like, the problem is not the man in power, right? The problem is in Russians. Like, for instance, Russians keep telling me Navalny died and our hope died. Now we really can't do anything. You killed him. I don't like Navalny because he's also an imperialist and racist and like literally referred to himself as a far right nationalist and like called immigrants roaches and non-white and blue-eyed Russians like a bunch of slur words and called Georgians rats and stuff. But so rodents, sorry. But so the thing is, Russians killed Navalny. And the reason why they killed Navalny is because they seem to have this idea, Russians, right? That one man is going to come and save them from Putin because they always need a Tsar, right? Like Navalny is only worth something when he has the support and the willingness of the people to fight and stand up for him. Right? So whether he's dead or alive, the people who are willing to fight or stand up for these values are still there, right? But no, for them, the dude died, Hope died, that's it, everything's gone, they're not going to do anything. So when you think about this, like Navalny went back to Russia because he thought he was not going to be imprisoned, because he thought that all of these Russians would come out and not let him get imprisoned, and that if it would get violent, they would fight it, like the same way that we did on Maidan. Because what happened was our government started attacking peaceful students who were protesting against a decision the entire country didn't support, that the president made because he lied to us. But in Russia, it doesn't happen that way. The second that it starts getting violent and they start getting beaten up, or they start getting threatened, or they start getting jailed, they just leave because they don't want to do it. They're not willing to get hurt for freedom. They don't want to fight for freedom, actually. That's the whole point. They don't want to fight for freedom. They want to hold a poster for freedom. And if something happens to them in a dictatorship for holding a poster that opposes the views of the dictator, then they're like, well, fuck, we can't do anything. They want someone to come. They literally, like, I don't understand what their idea was. I genuinely feel like these people thought that like Navalny was going to like duel Putin and like win, and they were gonna be like, they were gonna be free. But that's not how it happens. So you can't really, first of all, it doesn't matter what leader Russia has, because whatever that leader wants, Russians are gonna do. And it doesn't matter whatever leader Russia has. The imperialism, the superiority complex, all of that has been ingrained into them for centuries. It's not a Putin problem. It is 100%, 1,000,000% a Russia problem, and it always has been. And if you look at the history of Russian colonization, like Putin's not the issue. Like Russia is not a product of Putin. Putin is the product of Russia. He always has been. And the thing is, Russians are absolutely unable to form grassroots. They're unable to think for themselves. They're unable to organize against evil. They always need to have someone to walk them in hand. And when they replace one Tsar with another Tsar, it's like a personality cult. It's sort of like, and it's always been. If for instance, if Navalny won in Russia and then went and said that he wants to continue the war with Ukraine, they'd support him. They'd support it. If Navalny won, like let's say they had an election and Navalny actually won, and the next day he turned around and became, and continued the dictatorship, they'd be okay with it. It's like you point out that he's a white supremacist who's called himself a far-right nationalist. Thank you, Niels. And you point out all of these things, and they're like, well, that was 10 years ago, and you don't know what kind of leader he would be because he never had a chance to be a leader. Oh, okay. So a dude with the history of racism, imperialism, saying, thank you, Stephanie, saying that Crimea is not a sandwich to be passed around back to Ukraine, talking about Ukrainians in slur words like chachols, calling other nations slurs, saying that they need to deport the cockroaches, basically using all this Trump rhetoric. We should give him a chance to see whether maybe he had changed in jail. Like the thing is, they don't have a good leader, right? And because they don't have anyone who's reasonable, decent, and a good person, they're like, well, fuck, we don't have anyone else, so we're going to justify this person. And they're not even criticizing him. Like, the craziest thing is, so Navalny, the Navalny family, right? I will explain to you what groupthink in Russia is like in a simple example. So Navalny hasn't worked in a very long time. He's been living off of his YouTube and the Navalny Foundation, but the YouTube doesn't actually make that much money. You see the millions of views, it's not that much money. The money is from sponsorships, right? Like if you were advertising, like, I don't know, like headphones or whatever, that's how you make money. They don't do that. Like, not a thing, right? So, so Navalny's money comes from his charitable fund or whatever, his fund that's called the Navalny Foundation, right? Where people, Russians for the most part, and now some stupid Westerners, donate money to help Navalny family change Russia, right? Now, I know that in every charity you can take 20% for operational costs, but so here is Navalny, whose daughter goes to an American college that costs about $100,000 a year, running him 400,000 grand. Russian people are paying for that with their donations that Navalny is supposed to use to change Russia, right? They have a house in LA. They have an expensive ass office in LA. And Navalny, after Navalny's death, was doing a campaign of like of an upset widow, whatever, and she did a black and white photo shoot. And so Ukrainians looked at her shoes and they were $700 Jill Sanders shoes. That's $700 shoes, which would be fine if you had a job and you made a lot of money and you would be buying those shoes. But please tell me, how does an unemployed woman who lives off of people's donations buy $700 shoes? And the Russians are there like, oh my God, you have nothing better to do than criticize her wardrobe. It's like, no, dude, we're pointing out that you are sheep that donates to her organization, which is her only motherfucking income. And this woman who doesn't have a job, whose job is supposedly to change Russia, takes your money for which you paid $700 for designer shoes for her. And you think that's the only pair of designer shoes she has? No, that woman has expensive ass bags. And people keep saying like, oh my God, well, Navalny was a lawyer in Russia. And Navalny like has a YouTube channel. You don't make money solely off of views. You don't make enough money to have a freaking designer wardrobe and to send your daughter to like UCLA. That's not how it works. Like you have to have sponsorships, and political channels don't get that normally. Also, there's no placed product placement on their channels, so they don't make that much money off of the YouTube. And they haven't worked in like a decade. Like he's been doing Navalny shit for like a decade. So he's been living off of the donations for a decade. And she's unemployed. She was a housewife. And now she's living off of the new donations that are being donated to her on the hype of her husband's death, because now she's his replacement. So please tell me, how is it reasonable to buy $700 shoes when you live off of people's donations? Like, sure, maybe you received millions of dollars and 20% of operational costs is actually a couple of $1 million, but like you can literally put that money towards thank you. You can put that money towards like, you know, actually accomplishing whatever it is that your goal is, which you have never specified what your plan for changing Russia or freeing Russia is. You said show up to the election, and if you don't want to vote, just stand there, turn around, and leave. In as a sign of protest, which literally only gives Putin more validity because he's gonna film this and show record turnout numbers to the election, which he did. He literally did that, and I've said that he did that. And these Russians are literally justifying her, being like, you Ukrainians have literally nothing better to talk about than the fact that she has $700 shoes. So like, if this is the worst thing that she has done, it's like, no, dude, we're just pointing out that you are sheep and you are somehow so stupid, or like you want, or like, I don't know what it is. Like, I really don't know what it is. Like, is it that you just don't see it? Do you not want to see it? But that's the thing. They will find a personality. They will create a cult out of it, and they will protect it no matter what it does. It's like she is robbing you. You get that, right? You are giving her money, donating to her organization that's supposed to help Russia. And she chooses to buy designer clothes with the money that she receives for operational costs. An unemployed woman who had a rich husband and then he decided to quit his lawyer job and become a politician in exile. You now live off of donations. And you still choose to buy all designer wardrobe and you think that's okay to use that money to buy $700 shoes? Like, baffling. Like when I worked as a UX designer and made $180,000 until I quit the job to do this for literally no money and lived off of my savings and am like barely getting by, you know, I could afford to buy $1,000 Gucci bag. But you know, like I made a conscious choice to not work there and to do basically media literacy for Ukraine. Can you imagine if you guys were like, I don't know, signing up for my Patreon or something like that, right? And I would go and fucking buy $1,000 bag with it because that's the lifestyle I'm used to. Can you imagine that would be the case? I think there would be no justification for that. And Russians are literally like, and Russians are defending it. They're defending it. It's like they're being robbed by these people off of their money, and they're defending it. And that's all you have to know about Russia. It doesn't matter who wins the election. It doesn't matter who is the new person in power. Like, it really doesn't matter, because whoever is in power is going to be the exact same as you know, it's not going to matter, because also the entire system is all Putin's. They're all imperialists. They all have a superiority complex. So it's like, genuinely, it does not matter at all, because they're all like that. And it's really, really, like, it's just, you know, like, what can you do about that? Nothing. You literally cannot do anything about it, because the problem is not the person in power. The problem is the society, and the society allows that person to be in power. And that's all you need to know. Sorry. I got like, hi, Sophia. I'm so, you know. Well, I wasn't even saying. Mark says, no, you're honest, so we would be shocked and outraged if you spent money we sent for drones or Gucci bags. I wasn't even saying for drones. I was saying, like, I have a Patreon, right? Because the Patreon basically supports my basic life expenses, or like YouTube subscriptions, right? Because like that pays partially for rent and stuff like that, right? Because it's not like, I think my Patreon is like up to $600 a month on a good month right now. So it pays for some of the rent, right? And like expenses and life and things like that, right? And like, listen, this has been some horrendous months. So imagine when you sign up for Patreon, it says, hey, this is the money that basically helps me live. And I go and like spend it on Gucci bags instead. Like, I think that would be crazy, like genuinely nuts. Because that's just insane. It's like, you're like, hey, so, you know, I'm doing this online for free, and I would really appreciate it if you would sign up for Patreon to help support my reporting. And then with that money, I went and bought Gucci bags. Like, I feel like that would be misuse, and that would also be misrepresentation of yeah, like that's thank you, Victor. Like, point is, yeah, actually you can spend that Patreon on whatever. Yeah, but the thing is, like, on my Patreon it says it like it supports my basic living expenses, because this is my job and I do this every day, right? And my job has basically been reporting the news about Ukraine and explaining geopolitics and history and like cultural aspects and stuff like that. And yeah, but it's still like, it's a lie. It's really a lie, and it's fucked up, because like, if I had, if I'm like making money and I'm doing a job and I'm like doing all of that, I can spend the money on whatever it is that I want. But I feel like if I'm, if I'm counting to a degree on your support, and then I go and buy designer fashion from it, then that's fucked. Like, actually fucked. So yeah. That's yeah. Anyways, screw Navalny. Screw Navalny. Screw Navalny. Screw, like, it's just like, I think it's crazy, and it drives me crazy. Mm, it drives me crazy that, like, that people, Russians, are being robbed off of these, like, off of what they send, right? And they're justifying her spending this money on like designer shoes for $700. And that's just the shoes. I'm pretty sure that, like, the dress was around like 2 to 3K, because of course it was designer too. But the interesting thing is, why they justify it is because they all want to be in a position where they just have money coming to them. And the reason why they think there is nothing wrong with it is because they would do the same thing, right? If they were in her position and they just had millions of dollars coming in donations, they would do the same thing. So that's the thing. Thank you, Mark. Think about how many awesome Ukrainian designed bags you would get for the price of a Gucci. Well, yeah, I mean, like, to be fair, so first of all, Ukrainian clothes in a lot of cases are cheaper. Well, actually, in all cases are cheaper, because even like the expensive Ukrainian clothes are the same quality and like, kind as you would buy it, like, I don't know, Dior, but they cost like $300. That's not the Ukrainian clothes I get. I can't afford that. But I do. But since I've moved to Ukraine, and before that even, I've started trying to switch all of my wardrobe to Ukrainian made stuff, or at least like 95% of it. I will say that I cannot find a brand of jeans in Ukraine that fits me, because everything is made for tall women who are very slim. And I've got hips and I'm not tall. So most of the jeans go up to here. And I'm just like, no, this is not going to work for me. So there's that. But yeah, like, most of my, like, this is Ukrainian, and I attempt to only buy Ukrainian because first of all, it helps the economy. Second of all, I want to support Ukrainian businesses. And third, most Ukrainian businesses donate about 20% of their profits to the armed forces of Ukraine. That's actually something that I tell people when they ask me, what do I think about St. Javelin? And I think it's great. It was a fantastic idea. It was like, a first brand that wasn't like Ukrainian based, that was actually raising a lot of money for the military by selling like very fun clothing and t-shirts, but they're more like merch stuff. My friend works there. They're great. Their marketing is great. Their memes are great. Their reporting is great. Their position on Ukraine is fantastic. But so most of the people spend their money at St. Javelin because of the fact that they donate a large part of profits to Ukraine. So let me tell you a secret. Most Ukrainian brands that you will order from send money to the military. Like about 20% of their profits goes to the military. So most Ukrainian businesses do that now. Oh my gosh, firefighter, junior firefighter is meeting. Oh my gosh, blonde bumsheller. Grumpy was a firefighter. Ahmad here. Grumpy was a firefighter for 37 years. So he's gonna love that. So yeah, so if you do, so if you buy online from a Ukrainian business, you're almost guaranteed to be donating to the military. So you don't necessarily have to buy St. Javelin merch unless you actually want merch type stuff. You can also just shop at Ukrainian businesses and you will be making the same amount in donations as like St. Javelin normally is. So although St. Javelin does do really cool fundraisers, like actual fundraisers, like auctions with items like the St. Javelin casing table and stuff, where that's unique. But in terms of donations for your purchases, then most Ukrainian businesses do that. So yeah, so there is that. Then what else? Yeah, I mean, like support Ukrainian. Ukrainian things are awesome. Also, I do find that we have really good quality for a fraction of the price. If you want, suggestions for where to shop in Ukraine, I can. Oh, thank you, Leanne. Thank you so much. I can, so one thing that hi, everyone who's new here. One thing you might not know is, first of all, we have a Discord, and there are lots of really good channels on Discord that like gives that where people talk about all of these things. And then also I respond to most Instagram DMs. Like usually I'm pretty good at responding. Hi, Travis. Usually I'm pretty good at responding. Sometimes like I have days where hi, Chad, where I'm overwhelmed, or like, the dogs are doing what the dogs are doing. So I can't, but mostly if you ask me questions, I usually respond to them. I'm very good. I try to like communicate with people because I don't consider this I don't consider this a show. I consider this a conversation. So yeah. Hi, and hi, Chad. So yeah, so if you ever need any advice or help, I might be like busy and I have severe ADHD, and I might read your message and not respond because something distracted me. So just message me again. And I try to answer everyone. So, yeah. Are the dogs getting along today? No, they're not. So actually, for those of you who just came in and missed the beginning, oh, I can't believe I have to say this again. So Cindy now can't tolerate Liv at all. And according to the woman from the shelter from where I got Liv, Cindy is basically having like a psychotic breakdown because Liv has been attacking her this whole time. And Cindy has been kind of like trying to be reasonable about it, but she like snapped and lost it a couple of days ago. And so ever since, I can't have them in the same room because Cindy basically just tries to kill Liv. And I was talking to the person from the shelter, and she was basically saying that we have to rehome Liv because what's going to happen, like into a family without any other dogs, because what's going to happen is basically, if I don't do that, I'm just going to end up breaking Cindy's psyche. Cindy like has never attacked anyone before, and today a pincher came to sniff her and she tried to attack the pincher. And Cindy is genuinely miserable and constantly on edge and stuff like that. And no, it's just like her mental well-being. Like Cindy is genuinely like, every time she sees or hears Liv, her hair goes up. And she's just like, she is like, she's not like, it's been 4 months and it just keeps getting worse. And the thing is, like, I think that this was inevitable, and I kept trying to not accept it. Like, rather, I wasn't accepting it because I was like, I can do more and I can fix this and I can make them get along and I can like, this can be fixed. And so we've been fixing it for months now with the dog trainer and all of this stuff. And it's just not like, it's not getting any better. And Cindy, and Liv kept attacking Cindy and kept like having these episodes and stuff. And Cindy would just like protect herself, defend herself, but she wouldn't attack. Um, but she wouldn't attack. And then she like, after 4 months, she snapped. And I've never seen Cindy like this. And also like the fight that they had today was insane. Like broken glass everywhere and turned around tables everywhere. And like I was on the floor like bawling because I just lost it after I obviously separated them. And the thing is that like every time that they fight, it's hard for me to separate them because they're two really like muscular dogs. And so like Cindy has scratches and injuries all over her face and her ears and everywhere. And I have like this is from them fighting, but that's okay, but it's like I can't I can't look at this anymore. It's like it's really painful. And the thing is like I love Liv and I don't want her. I want like I've been wanting this to work so much, but I feel like in wanting it to work so much, I've completely bailed on the fact that Cindy is miserable, and she has been like genuinely suffering from this, and I and I and yeah, I mean, I'm not giving Liv to a shelter. She's not going anywhere until I find her a family that has the means to take care of her, that will be good to her. I'm looking through friends and family friends, and nothing. Like I'm not going to like she's not going anywhere unless she's going to a good family. And I and I and I'm yeah, and this is just so Sydney, not Sydney, Sydney, Syni. Sorry, obviously you wouldn't know, but this is Sydney, and she has been. I don't know. So I think that people confuse which dog is the rescue and which dog has been with me for since she was a baby. So Sydney has been here since she was a baby, and Liv is a rescue, and she's been with us for like 4 months now, and that's that's yeah, and at first Liv was attacking Cindy the entire time, and Cindy was trying to like deal with it and be okay with it. And then I've just never seen her like that. And then she yeah, yeah, so Cindy means blue. And if I continue talking about it, I'm gonna cry. So can we please switch? Can we please switch the subject? Because I think I've managed not to cry the first time I talked about it, and I really don't want to cry right now. And it's not because I have an issue crying on camera. It's just because I like literally I don't want to deal with the consequences of that. So can we just like move on to I don't know what is a good thing that we can move on to. Armin's quote. Armin has a quote of the day. Agatha Christie wrote, "Where large sums of money are concerned, it is advisable to trust nobody. She was correct. In matters of money, demand to see all the details." That's a really really good thing to live by. When we get news, well, so we kind of got some news today. We talked about the Russian election, right? And Russians. And I think that another thing that like kind of drives me crazy is how much attention people are paying to the fact that Russians have been like screwing with the polling stations and stuff like that. And they're like, oh my God, look, resistance. But it's not really resistance because they're like, these are few and far between. And those few and far between are just being put in front of most of the people who are just voting and not doing anything. And also, like, this is the thing, Russians are going to do anything instead of actually revolting, right? Because all of the people that would have wanted they're saying most people are against the war, right? So if it's most people, it's millions upon millions upon millions of people. All of those people, if they refuse to vote and they would actually fight for their rights, I mean physically fight, defend themselves, the government couldn't do anything about it. That's what we did on Maidan, but Russians don't want to do that. So that's kind of where we're at. So yeah. Alrighty. Are you guys okay with this being the stream today? Because yeah, just because Putin is, that's the thing. Another thing, Mark says, just because Putin is unpopular right now doesn't mean they're suddenly pro-Ukraine or something. Yes. Against Putin doesn't mean pro-Ukraine. Against Putin literally means just that, against Putin. Oh my gosh, I literally, I just opened Instagram and I opened it to this. Vladimir Putin has been re-elected as president of Russia. Surprise! We're all so surprised. So surprised. Aren't we super surprised? Like, shocker. I could never have predicted that. Wow. Sometimes changing the daily routine can refresh the mind and soul. Yeah, that's what I'm. Oh my God. Oh, that also looks like Cinny. Oh my God. Sorry. The dinos and everything that has a cute face on TikTok. Just so for those of you guys on YouTube, TikTok has like super chats, but there are these animations and there are these like dinosaurs, and that one was very, very, very pretty. But also all the dinos and all the like little cute animals are like remind me of Cinny. So anything animal related on TikTok, because it has like big eyes and it just looks like cartoonish, reminds me of Cinny. And also, yes, the routine change is a very good idea. I'm actually going to, yeah, I'm going to try that. What is your favorite type of vareniki? I just found out about potato, cheese, and bacon ones. Also, Tara, seriously, really, thank you. That was very sweet and very pretty. So I actually like potato, like I think it's just simple potato vareniki. The thing is like, so potato vareniki in Ukraine are very different than the potato vareniki that I've had in the US. I feel like in the US they have no spices. And I mean like literally they're just like not using anything. It's just potatoes and there is barely even any salt. And you have to put salt like on top of the vareniki. In Ukraine, like the potatoes, they have like spices in them. And I don't mean like hot stuff. I mean like spices, flavor, you know? And so kind of like the vareniki in the US tastes like cardboard, and vareniki in Ukraine taste like they're supposed to taste, which is not cardboard. Hi, beautiful. Hi, beautiful. Russia believes in one man, one vote. There is only one man, and your one vote better be for him. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, seasoning. Thank you. I forgot the word seasoning. Wow. I've been forgetting quite a few words and it's like driving me crazy because I feel like I'm standing there and I'm like, that thing. Yeah. Wait, that thing. What's that thing? And I keep forgetting what the thing is. Bud. Sinona. Hey, dog. Come here. What's up? Oh, yeah, of course. Cindy doesn't want to be on camera. I've been like sort of, I've been before the stream, I was kind of like half an hour here. Before the stream, I was like half an hour in this room with Cindy and half an hour in that room with Liv, half an hour here, half an hour there. So it's been kind of like a thing. But yeah. Hi, Maria. Hi, Maria. Is this Cindy? Yeah, this is Cindy. This is my little gremlin. Sin, come here. Okay, well, she's been a mascot for this channel because honestly, this dog, like, I would kill for this dog. She's my favorite thing on the planet. Cindy, come here, Baba. Come here. Come here. Like, you have no idea. I love this dog so much. Come here, Babashito. Come here, little Baba. This is Cindy. Hi, Bubs. Hello. Oh, hello. Oh, sorry. See? No, here. This is Sinister. I call her Sinister Minister, also known as Cinnamon Toast Crunch, also known as Gremlin, also known as Grumpkin, also known as Bubs, also known as Yulia, also known as Java, which means frog, also known as Pig Dog, also known as a lot of different things, and I don't know how she always reacts to all of them. Oh yes, also known as Queen Cindy, according to Chad. Yes, she's a French bulldog. Also known as Bulgogian. I call her Bulgogian. Oh. Look at her. We come for Cindy, and Yulia educates us. Yeah, I've accepted that most people are here for Jabba is toad. It's also frog. I mean, like, Jabba could also be frog because I call her Frogodogo and Frog Dog, and I can't call her Toad Dog. It doesn't really like sound the same way. So dog frog, frog dog, and Dogo Frogo. Dogo Frogo. See? Yeah, so I've not seen her on here before. I've only caught a couple of your streams so far, Yulia, but many of your guest appearances on other channels. Aw, thank you. Well, nice to see you here. Thank you for coming over. And I'm sorry that today, that today's stream is more about, dogs and life lately than the news. But this is kind of, Shinona. So we also call her. Oh my God, Lenny Ria, hi, how are you? I'm good. I'm okay. Well, I'm not good. I'm okay. But Jenny. Okay. Well, there was something else. Wait, that's why I know Jabba. Oh, they call French Canadian. So we don't call her. At some point when Macron was being a Jabba, okay, and by that I mean just like being an asshole, okay. We didn't claim France and Macron, and so we said that Cindy is not a French bulldog; she's a Scottish bulldog because Scotland was way more supportive of Ukraine, and we were really mad at Macron. So Cindy is actually not a French bulldog; she's the first and only Scottish bulldog. Scottish. Ah, thank you, Luann. He's a Scottish bulldog. Are you a Scottish bulldog? Thank you for sneezing directly in my face. That was. Thank you. That was lovely. I really appreciate that. That was great. Macron now plays a tough guy on TV. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, he really switched his narrative, and I am kind of like, I believe it with a grain of salt, but someone had to step up, and Rishi Sunak is not necessarily being Churchill, so I think that Macron is trying to be Churchill. I think it's his Churchill moment. And you know what? I'll take it. Whatever is happening in his head, an ego trip, wants to be Churchill, wants to prove something to the world, whatever it is that's making him say these things and do these things, I'm with it. I like this rebrand. I like this era of Macron. Dogs help keep us sane. I'm a dog person too. Have a Yorkie. Oh, well, I mean, dogs do keep us sane, unless they try to kill each other. Then not so much. French military exports are up. Of course they are. Oh, you guys. Okay. I think it's about time for me to probably start heading to bed. And I will see you tomorrow with a better, with a reasonable stream. So, with news and stuff. I did? No, she's not in jail. She's in the bedroom. Okay, I'll check. Not about her. Oh, 30. Okay. So, since Not a Botter just donated to the fundraiser, it brings us to $13,353.90. Oh, thank you, Mark. Oh, and also, thank you guys. Honestly, the stream did make me feel a little better, so I really, really do appreciate all of you, and thank you. Thank you. Yes, Carl, I agree with you. Well, so it's not even that, it's just that there would be a lot of refugees and a lot of immigrants from those territories if Russia screwed stuff up there, and Macron doesn't want that. So, also, hi, Ronnie. So that could be one of the reasons, but it's definitely not the main driving factor. It's but it's definitely part of it, or at least I believe that it's part of it. I'm not going to say definitely. I'm going to say, in my opinion, it's part of it. Okay, alrighty, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for everything, really. You guys rock. You're the best. I really appreciate you, and it's a very, 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 very amazing, lovely community. And thank you for letting me have a bit of a breakdown, and being there and supporting. Thank you so much. Okay. Good night. Mm-hmm.